1D&D is completely broken. Or at least that's what most of the reviewers talking about it right now would have you believe. One of the big culprits that's getting a lot of discussion lately is the change to the light weapon property. The new version of this property allows the wielder to make an extra attack with their offhand, provided that it is another light weapon without the expenditure of a bonus action, something that the feature used to require you to do. Before I actually discuss what I think about this and whether I think it's problematic or not, I do want to bring to everyone's attention something that I think is being consistently overlooked throughout this entire UA release cycle, and that's that nothing that is being printed is set in stone. Everything about 1D&D that is being released right now is strictly playtest material, so there is no point in getting so fixated and hung up on the minutiae of small damage outputs here and there, as everything is subject to change. Jeremy Crawford even confirmed this in his video chat with Todd Kenrick, where he stated that we will be seeing a future updated version of all of these classes and subclasses in a future Unearthed Arcana down the line. What the team is doing right now is iterating and exploring design space. They are not nearly as caught up in the nuance of individual features as they are with exploring new ideas and seeing what sticks. They may even naturally want to push the boundaries of what they think is good, and maybe something gets printed that is too good, but that is kind of the point of the design process. They even mention this on the very first page of the Unearthed Arcana, where it says under the section titled Power Level, the character options that you read here might be more or less powerful than options in the 2014 Player's Handbook. If a design survives playtesting, we will adjust its power to the desirable level before publication in a book. This means an option could be more or less powerful in its final form. Now then, you might be saying to yourself, well, what's the point in testing something that is obviously broken? To which I would respond, what is obviously broken? If we were to take the updated light weapons property as an example, as many are pointing to this as being problematic because it allows for such a high damage output at first level, the first thing that jumps to my mind is, so what? Should the game be balanced around first level damage outputs, and especially ones that don't even scale particularly well into the late game, if at all? I really don't think so. Most seasoned players are probably even starting at a minimum of third level anyway, and even if you did start at first level, you were quite literally one reasonably bad die roll away from certain death at any moment, so if anything, this just kind of helps level the playing field a little bit. But seriously though, the problem here is not the light weapon property. What I've been seeing so much of online is people seem to be genuinely just missing the points of the Unearthed Arcana and are heavily focusing on the wrong aspects of it. Power is actually really easy to scale, even in a printed form, as Wizards has said they will be scaling and adjusting the power level prior to any publication in a book, and it's super easy to scale in real time, as things like AC and monster health are pretty much subject to the DM's whim anyway. And all of this has been made even easier now that Wizards of the Coast owns D&D Beyond, so pushing through a digital errata can be done in an afternoon. What we need to be focusing on as playtesters and as a community is not damage output. It's how things feel mechanically. Is this fun? Is it simple? Is it too simple? Does this change meaningfully improve or detract from my experience at the table? These are the kinds of questions that we need to be asking ourselves. So with all that said and done, what do I actually think about the light weapon damage property? It's completely fucking broken. but honestly, no. I genuinely think that it is completely fine. I don't see any issue with it, and there's many reasons why. Myself and pretty much everyone who's played this game for years has been constantly complaining how bad martial classes are in comparison to their spellcasting counterparts. I made a whole video about it. Feel free to check it out. It'll be here or something like that. We have been clamoring for changes to weapons and improvements to classes and feats and fighting styles, and we're finally getting something, even unofficially, in a playtest form, and the response is just, it's broken. But I ask, if a blade-singing wizard can throw Green Flame Blade on the back of every single attack, which also does not cost a bonus action, and actually does scale reasonably well later on in the game, I'm not really seeing how this is any worse. But for argument's sake, let's say that we don't like it. Let's say we think that this is problematic. I think that it's really important to critically evaluate why we think this and where these problems are potentially coming from. The first question I ask myself is this fun or interesting? For me, yes, hitting stuff in extra time is always fun. I'm on board. Is there logic to it? This is an important question because obviously hitting something 37 times in a single turn might be super fun, but it's also completely insane and can be pretty immersion shattering. In this case, the logic definitely holds. This feature only applies to light weapons, which tend to be on the lower end of the damage scale anyway, as they provide the benefit of being able to attack twice in quick succession. Does it break another rule? No. I think what a lot of people might be finding jarring about this change in particular is that you just no longer need to use a bonus action to attack a second time as you previously did, which can have some impacts for action economy, and I can certainly understand that aspect of the argument, but honestly, I feel like this removal just actually makes light weapons a genuine competitive and viable option to other weapon types without making them strictly better in any way. Think about it this way. By my count, which is probably wrong, there are 7 weapons in 5th edition that have the light property. 3 of them have 1d6 damage and 4 of them roll with 1d4. Let's just say the average damage is 1d6. Now your main attack lets you hit with 1d6 plus your relevant attack modifier, and the offhand attack lets you just roll that 1d6. You're even losing the consistent part of the damage because you cannot add your attack modifier to the roll. So since you're hitting with an average damage of 3, would you sacrifice your bonus action to deal 3 damage? Probably not. At least I know that I wouldn't. So yes, the changes to the light weapon property are very good, and maybe they are even too good, but let's just try and focus on these other aspects of these changes without focusing so heavily on damage output. There are still so many things directly connected to this that are completely subject to change that we know nothing about. Maybe every light weapon has received a massive overhaul. Maybe the entire initiative system has been completely changed, and as a result, this entire discussion is rendered moot. We just don't know, and yeah, while obviously this video has heavily focused on the changes to the light weapon property, this philosophy can very easily be extrapolated out to any of the other changes that we're seeing so far in 1D&D. Even things that people are calling nerfs, like the changes to fast hands or some of the wording specifically related to sneak attack. Let me know what you think in the comments. I am sure that there will be many people disagreeing with me, and honestly, that is completely fine. I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts and insights and comments about this. I respond to pretty much every comment I get, so I'd love to have some great discussion down there. But hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong about the whole thing anyway. I usually am, so take care.